All right, guys. Good morning. Well, I've actually never done a live stream uh, for YouTube, so let's learn together. Um, what I wanted to do though is kind of give my review of Exodus 90. Um, for you guys that don't know what Exodus 90 is, um, it's a program. It's a program for Catholic men, just to basically become better men and become better Catholic Christians. And let me tell you, it's both outstanding and rough at the same time. All right. So 90 days, no alcohol, no sweets, um, cold showers. See, what else am I forgetting? Fasting and uh, regular exercise. So a lot of that stuff I do anyways. Like I don't drink anymore. I don't think there's anything. I'm not morally opposed to drinking. I personally I can't. I used to have a problem with it, so I don't do it. Um, but the no sweets and the fasting, because I don't drink anymore, my sweets intake has gone up. So it was a little rough. Um, the cold showers for 90 days. Um, having been in the military, I'm used to it, but I don't necessarily like it. I can do it, but it's not fun. Um, but I did it 90 days. And here's the kind of crazy thing with my experience. You're supposed to have a fraternity. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's a group of your best dudes, that you kind of rely on and lean on during the experience. When times get rough. Well, I couldn't find anybody that wanted to do it because nobody was down with the cold showers, right? So I kind of did have a fraternity. And like I had people that would check in on me, both I had Catholic friends and Protestant friends as well that knew I was doing the program. Um, but no one actually wanted to do it themselves. Although, with that being said, one of the guys that didn't want to do it when I did it has recently started it. So they want you to kind of, the way the program's kind of set up is they want you to do it at scheduled times throughout the year, but you don't have to, right? Like I chose to do mine during a kind of a non-scheduled time. Um, like there's an Exodus 90 going on right now. Um, that part of it takes you through Lent. But the way I saw it, the reason I didn't wait is I'm like, that's kind of double dipping when it comes to the hardship and the aesthetical practices. Because stuff that you already give up for Lent, you've already given it up for Exodus 90. So to me, you're kind of double dipping. You're getting, you know, taking care of two hardships, two aesthetical practices, you know, for the price of one. So I actually, again, I finished Exodus 90, but um, look, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but that's Exodus 90's Lent program. Started that today, Ash Wednesday. Um, but what I really want to talk about is not the aesthetical practices, not the exercise and activity, um, because I'm used to that anyways. But it was the holy hour, and the nightly reflections, the nightly examines, getting up every morning, kind of early because I had to be at work. I have to be at work at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. And it's a good 45-minute drive from where I live to where I work. So, I would get up at 4 a.m., 4:30, um, just to try to get my holy hour in. Um, and if you couldn't do a whole hour, which a lot of times I couldn't do, um, you had to at least do 20 minutes. And it's amazing. Just my prayer life has gotten so awesome, and it's so rewarding. Especially uh, mental prayer and just silent prayer. Everybody needs that in their life. I couldn't. To me, that's been the most. uh, the biggest blessing I've got out of this whole program was how awesome my prayer life got, and it is. Um, and I also read a lot of books um, because during the program you're not really supposed to read for pleasure. I mean, when I say for pleasure, I mean like stuff that you normally like to read. Um, so I really got into because of Exodus 90. I started doing more religious reading, um, not just my daily biblical readings, but just different things in general. So I kind of want to give a few shout outs. Um, through Bishop Robert Barron's Word on Fire Institute, I took an online class on St. John Henry Newman. It was outstanding. Um, Brandon Bott's online program. I took a class on Vatican II, and I actually read the documents out of thanks to his class. I learned so much about Vatican II, and also about some of the myths and misconceptions. Um, and it led me to actually read the documents that came out of Vatican II for myself. Um, and I so many good books, so many good books. I'm going to recommend a few of them to you. Also, um, through the program, I got turned on to G.K. Chesterton. So I became a member of the Chesterton Society. So check that out. Um, he's known as the Apostle of Common Sense, and just I can't say enough good things about G.K. Chesterton. So check him out. Check out his readings. And it's funny that a lot of them are over 100 years old and they make so much sense for today. Um, and also, Dr. Taylor Marshall had a small book on the Rosary. Um, Again, like I said, my prayer life, especially praying the Rosary, has just greatly increased. And this book is very valuable as far as the history of the Rosary and different ways to pray it. And it's awesome. Like I said, that's Dr. Taylor Marshall. Um, and also through the Chesterton Society, it led me to some of their other books. This one here, Justice and Charity by Bishop Fulton Sheen. It is outstanding. Um, and it just kind of like the economic side of Catholicism, about uh, just monetary practices and a just economy, things of that nature. Um, which that reading that book led me to this small book, which was actually everybody knows Alexis de Tocqueville, obviously from Democracy in America, or at least I hope you do. But he also had some writings. It's memoirs on pauperism, like basically just interaction with the poor and uh, private charity welfare programs versus government welfare programs, and it's really really good. Um, then I got turned on to something called the Catholic Studies Academy, um, and then I found this book, Real Philosophy for Real People, by Father Robert Spitzer. It kind of breaks down classic Western philosophy, um, where laymen can understand it, because obviously the philosophy that's kind of going on in the world today, relativism, it's killing our society, guys. It just is. Um, but also, I learned of Blessed Charles of Austria. Obviously, being a military veteran, um, I found this one extremely, extremely uh, interesting, and one that you may find kind of odd. But obviously, being Exodus 90, you go through so many, like I said, aesthetical kind of programs. You give up a lot. You take cold showers. Um, uh, you know, your body suffers. So I came across this book called The Porch and the Cross: Ancient Stoic Wisdom for Modern Christian Living, and it's outstanding. It's a great read. Um, it kind of turned me on from this. It turned me on to um, what Ryan Holiday is doing over at the Daily Stoic Life, and you're like, well, hey man, aren't you giving this kind of a religious talk, and now you're talking about secular stoicism? Yes and no. Obviously, I believe you know to me, uh, I take it one step farther uh, when it comes to stoicism. Past nature. To God. Um, He's the baseline, the floor for all of that. But again, there's a lot of similarities, and you again just read this book. Um, and also, obviously, being a military veteran, especially being a Marine Corps veteran, um, and under General Mattis and the Mattis era, we're very familiar with Marcus Aurelius and the Meditations. So I reread some of those, and also that all led me to a couple courses from Hillsdale College. Okay, if you guys don't know about Hillsdale College, all right, they're outstanding. It's a 4-year university in Michigan, um, but they offer free online classes. All right, and you do get a certificate at the end. I've taken several of them on the Constitution, different stuff like that in the past. But they had a philosophy class, a basic philosophy class. Um, Took that, and I also took a class on C.S. Lewis and the Abolition of Man. I also read the Abolition of Man during this program, um, and I can't say enough good things. But go check them out. Check out their free online classes. Um, and again, whether it be some of the books that I just showed you or the classes at Hillsdale, I'm telling you, um, there's a lot going on in this world that you got to be prepared for, especially when it comes to different philosophies and beliefs. And if you don't have a good, solid foundation uh, in, whether it's your religious beliefs and apologetics, but just overall Western civilization, Western Civ classes, or you know, uh, ancient philosophy, you're going to be in a world of hurt because that's what's out there, right? And um, I say that because I'm uh, I'm a school resource officer. I'm a police officer. I know some of you guys know that, some of you may not. And I'm a resource officer at a middle school, at a public middle school. And I look at some of the stuff that these kids are being taught and some of the ideologies that leak into the classroom, even though they're not supposed to. And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, especially as a parent, uh, it worries me for my own kids, which leads me to probably the most two important books that I read during this entire experience, that I highly recommend. Uh, One is the Benedict option. All right. And again, it kind of breaks down kind of what I've been talking about. Just, you know, we're probably living, I guess it would be safe to say we're living in a post Christian society, you know. Um, uh, and, you know, all you got to do is look around the world and see that Christians are literally still being persecuted. I know people don't talk about it on the news uh, that much. You kind of got to go looking for those stories, but they're out there. Like physically persecuted through violence. That's still happening against Christians. Okay, um, not so much in the United States, but you know, in a way, Christians are being persecuted uh, with the help of our legal system. Um, and the Benedict option kind of just, it tells you about how to just, expect that it's going to happen and the ways that you can overcome it. And also a book called, I actually listened to this on audiobook, but Silence by uh, Robert Cardinal Sarah. Um, and it just how God speaks to you in silence. And I'm telling you, it just silent prayer, and it just really it's made my life so much better. Um, I can't say enough good things about it. But that's it. That was my Exodus 90 journey. Um, check out those books, but definitely check out Silence and the Benedict Option. And again, I can't say anything. I can't say enough good things about this program. So please look into it. If you feel like there's something missing in your spiritual life, because we got to remember, uh, you know, being a Christian is not supposed to be easy. That's kind of one of the things that kind of bothers me. What we say is Christianity is kind of more just like moral therapeutic deism. It's about, well, as long as I'm a good person. Well, no, that's not it. Um, that's not necessarily it. You know, uh, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sure enough. Um, and it's not just about being a good person. If you live a a sinful lifestyle, you know, and that's between you and God. I'm not judging you, but just know that you will be judged one day. And you're like, well, but I was a nice person. Well, that's not what it says, man. That's not what it says in the book. That's not what it says in church tradition. No, 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 no. You know, uh, so I guess that's kind of what we're up against. But again, I've got a lot of friends out there that are good people. They're super good people, and I love them to death. Um, and they consider themselves Christians, but they engage in immoral behavior. Um, and I'm not judging them for it. And I'm a sinner myself. I'm not saying I'm any better than them. But I just, what scares me is that, they kind of been taught certain things or been accepted by certain Christian denominations as okay, and I don't think that's it. And I worry for them. So, all right, guys, I hope you liked my review, but please check out Exodus 90. It's awesome. All right, bye.